there's always someone wherever
Nearby.
you want to take pictures, shoot something, and they
It's
just
crazy,
look at you
dude. It's like we're magnets or something.
Sleeping on a friend's couch, never go to.
I still think favorite. I still think it's Soho. I like Soho so much because it was like me being really honest. It was like a lot of my songs I mix in details about stuff. When I make songs, it's like a lot of different reasons. That song in particular, I was just like trying to express how I felt, like, and use like different references, like from stuff I like. I think rap has taught me so much stuff, not even just about myself, but just like things around me in general. To like hearing a line and then I look up the line and I'm like, whoa, I found out this whole entirely new thing about this artist and about something that they like, and it's also something I like. So I want to do that in my music because I want to make it easier for like someone to come up to me and be like, hey, I really like that line because it was about this and this. But yeah, Soho was just me talking about like couch hopping a lot, like not wanting to be at home. Like it's like that's what that song's basically about, like that, and like love and those like encounters that you have with people sometimes could be a lot better when you're outside of the house, and it's like a different feeling when you wake up at someone else's house because you know that you're like it's like with a friend, like a different kind of family member. It's like you building your own family. That's what I like to see friends as, like, a lot of the time. So that's basically what it was about. And yeah, if you could tell in line, I'm like talking about, I use like references like from The Last of Us, from that DLC. I forgot what she said in particular. I said it in the song. It was like, let's go crazy together. That was like one of the characters got bit, and she was like just basically like, let's wait it out together. And it's like stuff like that. And yeah, and Perks of Being a Wallflower, I had like watched that during quarantine, and I don't know if it was just like having to be in the house all the time, but I just really like coming of age movies, and I just really gravitated to it. And there was that scene where he's like, don't touch my friend or I'll blind you, and that's just me. And towards the end of the song, I'm just like repeating that because it's like both a reference and like showing like how I felt like I wanted to like appear on that track. Yeah.
I'm on a pack, yeah. I don't give a fuck about your status or your stress, yeah. Coming off.
With the beats, with each like beat or instrumental I get on, I see it. I thought of this in my head so many times. I think I see beats. Oh gosh. I see beats more as like a stage, like for me to perform. Like that's why I'm so particular when I find stuff, because it's like I don't want it to be like, oh, this beat is better or the lyrics are better. I want it to like have like that blend where everything like comes like together perfectly. There are like different aliases, and like I've made up like characters, and they're writing different parts of different songs in there, and through them I do like push like certain objectives with my songs, because I find it easier to do that way. Like we were saying, like it can be hard like as an artist because you're putting a lot of yourself out there, so like doing that like through certain characters makes it easier, like so you can like have like at least some kind of rest, and it's like not just all like, oh, this is just everything that's happening, because some of the stuff is like just me being like a rapper. Sometimes you just want to make up like these fantastical moments that sounds good on the song, and that's what I it's like a balance. It's like me like talking about like my life, and then also like this fantasy world that I'm building.
Oh yeah, I always do I don't know why I do that.
The Mask is Sourface performing. Yeah, and the reason I came up with Sourface was because my friend was like asking me to be on a song, and I had been switching names like back and forth constantly, and I was just like, okay, I need to come up with something, and I really like Bareface from Brockhampton, and
I love Bareface.
I also like Bus Driver. He's a very influential person, like in like the way I rap, it making me feel like able to feel more comfortable rapping, like in a weird way, because I feel like I do kind of rap like strange, and like my words and the beats I choose are like pretty strange. But he has a song called King Cookie Face, and I was using that. But it's like a lot of different things. Like Sourface is also like the representation of like, you know, I'm calling myself Sourface, but it's also like, you know, black people get stereotyped as like having like mean faces, and it's like we have a very big reason to have like be upset. I'm not saying like we can't be happy or that we aren't ever happy. It's just like Sourface is like kind of like my like self-expression of like my anger, like how I want to express myself sometimes, whether it's like happiness or if it's like anger or if it's like, you know, me just wanting to be like myself, wanting to be like this swagged out person that has like confidence in themselves and they feel like they can do whatever because, you know, they're just them, you know. I always like try to go for that confidence, and I think it's like for some reason, I don't know, it's just easier with The Mask, with Sourface. There's also like different aliases, like Baby Blue is like another alias. There's Milk Blue, he's like the one that writes the more like R&B, like smoother tracks. He's the one that has like the orange mask, so it's like even through my lyrics, like I'm trying to, like I said, like create a world. It's like that's why I like get so deep in my lyrics and have so many different references, because I know, like, you know, in the future when I'm like big and popping, there's gonna be that kid that's like looking up all this stuff and he's like connecting the dots, and I just know like that's how a lot of my favorite artists made me feel. So I don't know, I just felt like I wanted to do that in my own way, in my own world. It's weird. I feel like I need to write, and that might sound as corny as it does, but like I feel like before I started writing, yes, thank God. Before I started writing, I think it was very difficult for me to voice how I was like genuinely feeling, because I wasn't that good at like communicating like my emotions as much. So being able to write helps a lot with just being, first off, to get like what I'm feeling out, but also like I just like writing. Like writing is like, I feel like it's something that like intertwined with my like being in a way, if that makes sense. Like I feel like a lot of my family like are musicians, and like from my mom, she said she was like writing a lot when she was like having me when she was like in North Carolina, and my uncles are rappers, and I just like have like different members of my family that are like either like into music or into like some kind of art that I didn't like, now I'm just now finding out about, and I just feel like it all makes sense in a way. It's like when I come up with a line in my head, I feel like I need to like write it down. Like I would definitely always have like a pen and a pad on me, because it feels like you get like excited, because it's not just like, oh, that line could sound really good on a song and it could help me make money. It's like, this is like just a clever line, and it's just like something I just know that someone's gonna appreciate it. And even at the end of the day, if no one does, I know I'm like that shit was clever, and it just all builds up to something, you know. And I think I'll always keep writing, whether it's like poems or I would love to make movies and make movies and direct stuff one day. I don't want to like limit myself, and I think that's one of the best parts about writing, is that you don't really have to limit yourself to whatever someone else's standard is. You know, I can write about whatever I want about, whether it's like fictional or, you know, reality. It's just like you writing it is like helping you. So if anything, it's just like a big therapy session that I'm like letting people in on. I think it's like kind of a blend of all those things, because, you know,
porn. You use it all in music.
Yeah. I think it helps a lot that I'm not able to make music right now. That's why y'all are getting all these like free bars right now. Once I get a new laptop, it's over. No, but yeah, it kind of is like a weird mix of all that. It's like me honing my craft, because rapping, especially nowadays, like can just be like this commodity to people, and not really seen as art, and not really seen as like something that has value, which is saddening. But it's like also kind of makes sense to how people like treat like black people in general. Like it kind of becomes just more of this like thing. And however far I get in my career, and I know I'm gonna make it far, because like this is like one of the biggest things I care about in my life. Rapping, you have to hone that. You can't just be like, oh yeah, I rap, and then you don't do anything and you don't work on it. You have to get like that 1,000 hours, 10,000 hours, whatever like percentage. You have to work out your brain. And it's like, I post those poems and those pictures, I feel like, because it's like, I don't know, it's a lot of the pictures and the poems are like intertwined. Like I just like, I don't know if there's like something with my brain. I just like things that like, I don't know, pockets or systems that I have in my head. Like I feel like these pictures relate to it, but also because I feel like these pictures are like stuff people need to see. People are like always seeing stuff on Instagram, and they're always seeing stuff constantly that they don't really care about, or they don't really like, I don't know. I feel like I'm swiping on Instagram and I'm seeing stuff like that's like copy and paste, and it's all like very commercial, and it's like not people like really caring about the things they're sharing. They're sharing it because they have to, or because someone's telling them to. I don't really want to have a career like that. I don't want to have a career where it's like, oh, can you do ... for me because, you know, you're part of this label or something. If I ever do like get, unless I or if I go to like an independent, I just want to be a genuine person that says they like things like their friends and the things they like because they do. It's like those pictures are stuff I like, those poems are things I like. So I feel like combining them, you know, is like very easy, you know. And yeah, it's just something I like doing. It's definitely it's definitely for for practice, but also because, you know, it's nice. People have told me that the stuff I wrote, you know, helps them, and that they really like when I post. And it's like, I felt so self-conscious about posting like stuff, my lyric. I feel self-conscious almost posting all the time, and I think that's kind of like how it is nowadays. Like you feel like, you know, everyone has your eyes on you, and you have your value on how much people like pay attention to your stuff. And I was just like, I don't know, it just clicked in my head. I'm like, who cares? I can do whatever I want. It's like my art, and I want to like show people it. And what happens. I feel like the world takes the energy that you put out. It's like, I'm trying to write because I want to become a better writer, but I also want, you know, people are For me, I didn't think people were paying attention to it as much as they did. I've been noticing that more people have been paying attention to it, which is like kind of like both anxiety feeling, but also like reassuring that it's like, yeah, it's like me doing this like helps people, and that's like kind of what I always want to do with my art. Like people people are important. We don't we don't care about one another as much. So I feel like art is my way of doing that. And also, not being a horrible person, which is nice. I hope more artists start realizing their actions and changing. But yeah, I think I just I like sharing. I think that's how most artists are. I think that's how I've always been with art. Well, at least as I've grown older and felt more comfortable with myself. That's the thing I've noticed also. It's you get both sides. It's if like you're saying, if someone doesn't want to read the poem, there's cool pictures that are showing stuff that are references and stuff that I like. And if you like the poems, you get the poems and these pictures, these random pictures. So it's I feel either way I'm expressing myself, which is important.
Let me just check.
Pouring bottles like a message, all we do is pop shit.
That's insane that you say that, because that's kind of what it felt like. The first time I remember hearing music was the Pokemon themes, and I was like, I wish it wasn't that. I wish that's the first piece of music I remember hearing. No offense to you know what? Fuck whatever. I don't really care about Pokemon. But I remember I was listening to jazz with my grandma, and I don't know, that shit I felt euphoria as I was 4 years old, and I was like, what is this feeling? I was like, I've never felt this. I was sitting in the back of the car, and I felt I literally it was an out of body experience. I will never forget that moment. It's just, I don't know, man. Jazz, when I first heard jazz, that was definitely, I was like, how are they doing this? It was crazy. I think up to that point I've heard R&B and rap and rock and different stuff, and I was like, okay, this stuff is cool, but for some reason with jazz it was just my body is feeling yeah, it was an entirely different experience. But yeah, that was definitely it. You said people in my family also. Yeah, a lot of my family put me on to a lot of the music I like nowadays, honestly. My mom definitely put me on this stuff heavy. She was playing all of Tupac, Biggie, and also she was really into Wu-Tang, so Busta Rhymes. So I was able to and also, Missy Elliott. Nah, I'll start going crazy. I'll start naming off 1,000 names. But yeah, all of that more self-expressive stuff, but also all of the R&B stuff, all Mary J. Blige, SWV, Beyonce, all of all the deep cut R&B, 90s R&B. My mom was raised in the 90s, so she was already bumping all that stuff, and she had me really young, so I was just I was absorbing in all of the stuff she was playing, and it just definitely helped a lot. When I started living with my grandma, that's, and my female cousins, that's where I got more into Justin Timberlake and more jazz influence. So I found out more about Michael Jackson. That's definitely one the experience. Another experience I had when I first saw him perform on TV. Yeah, I was what? I was I was little kid confused, right before something happens. I was why are all these people screaming and fainting? And then he was on the stage, and I was I understand completely. It was I was this is how I want to make people feel. I want not obviously I don't want people dying or losing their breath when they see me. That would make me feel kind of scared, honestly. But have someone just be so happy and joyous that they see you perform, that they're they're shaking, they're sweating, they're just I that's just how I wanted to make people feel with my music, me expressing myself in my my own way. And yeah, that's insane. I know that definitely always goes on debate, especially nowadays, and I find that kind of interesting, honestly. I see myself as an artist, Yeah, but I also see myself as a rapper. I see as an MC, as like a poet, you know, as someone, a creative. I want to create. I never want, you know, people get boxed in a lot of the times, especially with rappers. And I think I play devil's advocate in that part, because I understand what old school people are like when they're like, oh, you're not a rapper. And I'm like, I get it. You're saying like you're not like this specific thing. I think what old heads need to realize is that we're just like them. We're like trying to find our own thing. And even with that like whole title thing, I think rappers are artists. I think, you know, what we do is art. What like a specific West Side Gun, I'm going to be on one of your songs one day. That's a promise. Like, what he does is art, bro. How he choreographs those samples and everything. Like, what we're doing with self-expression. That shit definitely pisses me off when they're like, rap isn't art. I'm like, we are putting more work than you will ever understand. Because you could just be like making La La Land about whatever this song is. No disrespect to their song. I'm just saying, like, with what we're doing, it's like a lot of like us. It's us. It's from the sampling, from the lyrics to like the people we have on the song to what we're talking about. It's like all very important. It's art. That's how I see it as. Do I enjoy? I think I like sampling. Is, like I said, like sampling is an art, because you're like, somebody didn't think about doing that before until then, you know. So that person doing that on that song is the first time you're hearing it like that. So you would have just never heard that song that was like from the 1970s, and somebody is like like, it's like fucking science. If anything, they're fucking doing science. Like, you're taking something and like making it an entirely new experience for someone. I like sampling. I also obviously want to get like better at making my own stuff particularly, but I think a lot of my favorite music I've ever listened to is like stuff that was sampled and flipped and, you know, chopped into something else. It's funny you said that. Shout out Traps. That's the homie. We're gonna do great things. We were having right before he let me perform on Thrax Fest. I was like, are you sure you want me to perform? Because you know how I make my stuff, and you see me perform on clips and stuff. And he was like, bro, I want you there. And I was like, okay. And I feel like that like definitely helped with my perspective, because it was like me realizing like, just because I make stuff that's like a bit like all over the place, I can still like have people that feel like, yeah, man, of course you could like perform with us. It doesn't matter. I feel like I definitely, I think it goes back to the artist thing. I don't want to be boxed in. I don't want like people to be like, oh, he only makes this. He only makes that. I try to expand with different things all the time, whether it's like vocally or with like the thing Buffalo Bill, that song, that was me trying to make a math rock song, if you could believe it. That's the thing that I love about music, is like it's all experimenting. Like, that's why like Vince Staples taught me this. It's like when he came out with like that summer project, he was like, I'm just gonna put these songs out. You know why? Because there could be a kid that like yeah Vince Staples, I think with the Summer '06 project, he was like, I'm just gonna put these songs out, and because like someone could like that song, like that song that you're holding. Okay, I didn't mean to say that in a rude way. I was like, sometimes we hold on to our art a lot of the time, especially musicians. We hold on to songs because we're like, oh, this doesn't sound right, or this was too experimental. I feel like that's where like a lot of my influences come from, like the punk, like DIY, like kind of influence. It's like, why not? Like, if I try it and then I put it out there and then someone likes it, then someone likes it. and I like so many different kinds of music. Like I listen to, I was listening to punk at a young age. I was listening to a lot of like that Tony Hawk soundtrack. Like I am like a weird dude that likes weird eclectic stuff, but I can also like pop stuff, and I can also like a lot of like alternative rap and mainstream stuff. So every song I do kind of is like an attempt at some kind of genre or some kind of sound. I feel sometimes it's more like a certain field on a project, but sometimes it's like me trying like a lot of different stuff. I want to honestly, I want to try to make every single kind of sound I can, because I can. I don't have, nobody can like force me not to make like certain stuff. Like I love music, and I love like expressing myself. So if I'm gonna make a pop like album eventually, like whether it's like bubblegum pop or if it's like, like 100 gex type stuff, like hyper pop, it's gonna be like whatever that is, but like me doing it, but yeah, I don't know. I definitely I don't want to say which tracks, but yeah, because I think, and I've definitely also been paying attention to that, like how I've been writing now. It's like and I'll even talk to my therapist about it. It's like, which I shouldn't feel bad because I'm like making stuff, and and that's not what my intention was when I wrote it. It was like me trying to get this out. So it's like your intentions matter, and that's why I like write a lot differently. But it's like, yeah, I was young, and that's like how I felt at the time, and it was like me being sad and me making like some emo ass shit, and it's like, yeah, that's how it came off. But yeah, it's like definitely harder to listen to those songs, because it's like I was definitely just like up like trying to find a way to express it, but yeah, but I also know like I've heard people that listen to that song, like those certain songs, and they're like, I really like this song, like I really relate to how this felt. And it's like that, it's again that balance of like expressing yourself. You have to be careful with how you express yourself, because those are people's emotions, and it's not just your art, it's like how somebody feels.
You disgusting piece of
That's funny you say that. I feel like you can talk about, I feel like this is the same thing with comedy nowadays. I feel like a lot of comedians want to say the most controversial thing, and then they're like, oh, haha, but it's just a joke. You could say that joke and still have people laugh. I just think you're not putting enough work in, like, to like have it like make sense and like also be funny and not hurt somebody. With writing, I think it's the same way. You can like, whether it's like layering, like having like metaphors, like you can write about what you want to write about. Make sure that you're careful with how you're writing it, because you're writing it, you're the person that's making that song. You have to be careful with. Sometimes it can be restrictive, because sometimes I'm thinking like, how would that make that person feel? Whether it's like a metaphorical person or like a real person that you like had interactions with, you have to think about that, and you have to think about your audience, because your audience is going to hear that, and that might be how they feel about that song, whether it's like their age or that's just how they genuinely feel. It's like you have to be careful sometimes. Like we have like, I genuinely feel like this is what I'm meant to do. Making music, making art, I feel like this is what I'm meant to do. So if I'm gonna do that, then I should be careful and make sure that what I do is both good and both like, not hurting people, because I never want to hurt people. I want to make art and I want to express myself, and it's like, yeah, it's like that weird balance sometimes. I never feel like I personally, like with anything I've censored myself. There's definitely notes I have where I'm like, that's definitely for like later on, but there's also lyrics where I'm like, sometimes I just need to get that out. I'm gonna keep that in my notes app. I'm not gonna put that out. But it's like, yeah, I don't know. It's the balance. It's a hard balance, the thing is, I can name like so many names. That's insane. Like I was saying, like I love music so much. I've planned this out of my head before. I'll put it into chunks. Tyler, the creator, obviously. Tyler, I think he genuinely made me feel like, yeah, I could do this. Like, he genuinely was like, I can make this possible. You could be a weird black kid that likes things that are like quote unquote white things. Like, you can like them and you could do it 10 times better than anybody else can. He was definitely a big inspiration, especially around like high school, around like when you're like, what am I gonna do? What am I gonna do with my life? I need to figure. Yeah, literally. You're like, I have to figure it out. And he kind of was like, even though that shit was stressful, I was like, I'm gonna figure it out somewhere, and I am, And it's like, a lot of it is because of him, because he's like was just like so upfront with everything about himself. And I definitely I love that man. I can't wait to work with him one day, bro. That song's gonna be insane. Kendrick is definitely a big one also. I always thought in my head, like, Kendrick made me proud to be Tyler made me proud to be a weird black kid. Kendrick made me proud to be like a black man. He made me it was like, I don't know, when To Pimp a Butterfly came out, it made me feel like I should be proud of who I am. Like, I feel like a lot of time before that, I had a lot of like self-doubt. I was like, oh, being black is like, well, not all the time, obviously. I just felt like being black is a hard thing. It's not easy, especially growing up around like mainly white people in a racist school and like being like treated like you're not a person. Kendrick like made me like, it was like, I am proud of myself. I'm proud of being a black person, and I did the ancestry and all that. Shout out my Nigerians. But yeah, I should be proud of who I am. He definitely helped that, and the way he writes is just incredible. I think that's why I pay so much attention. A lot of my favorite like musicians are like people that are great writers, and Kendrick is definitely like just like everything he does. I feel like everything he does is a hit. No, black and brown people should like whatever. Black and brown people can like whatever we want to. We created it. We literally did. We are the reason for culture. We are the culture, bro. They fucking. That's some DMX shit. They're trying to fucking brainwash us. We did everything, and they're like flipping it around to make it. It's whatever. That's gonna go on that's for a song later down the line. Anyway, no, it's just like.
Yeah, but it's a fact.
It's a fact. It's like, it's crazy. I feel like they just like, they're like, yeah, you can like whatever you want to like. And that, like I said, perfect timing. High school, when you're like, who do I want to be? This is when I have to like figure out who I want to be. Even though it obviously, as I got out of high school, I realized that's still a process. But he definitely helped with that. It's like, he just like made me feel like I had a voice, like that I can feel like I can be myself. And it's like, I don't know, it's like you always run to like figures that are doing things how you wish that you could do them, and he just like, I feel like he's definitely helped a lot of people, like especially a lot of black people, because you just feel like isolated a lot of the time. So you're just like, what am, and he helped me with that confidence, man. And yeah, JPEG Mafia also. I love JPEG Mafia a lot. He really, bro, I feel like he's like the Boondocks of rap. Like, I really feel like he's like, we needed him. Like, he came in like at the perfect time. Yeah, bro, I could really go into how much bro. He literally created Vaporwave, which I find extremely interesting. And once again, black people making things and not getting the credit. I'm just saying. Anyway, no. The things he does with music is insane, and how, like, I feel like that's a perfect example with like writing. Like, he definitely helped me like about writing, like more about how I felt about things. and making it more of an artistic thing, if anything, because he's talking about some fucking crazy. He's talking about doing some crazy ass shit. Yeah, it's like he's obviously like he's like spitting bars, and he just does it like nobody else does. Honestly, like till this day, like I feel like nobody can like really replicate what JPEG Mafia does, because he's like really his own lane entirely. Who else? Definitely SZA. SZA was definitely a big inspiration. Like the way, bro, Control. I really like SOS. Also, that shit is insane. I just love SZA in general as a person. That like, I don't know, but Control, like really spoke to me so much. And again, it was like around like summertime, like 2018. It was like wow. I was like, life. it was like life is crazy, but this is just making me feel a lot better. Yeah, it's like, I don't know, and I connected to Normal Girl a lot. That shit. I love so much of her stuff, and the way she writes is so incredible. Also, Demitsky. I've been trying to catch up on her music. She's a great writer, but yeah, SZA, I just love the way she writes, and the way she uses her voice. Again, like I think I just gravitate like distinct, like nobody sounds like no one really sings like SZA does, and she's like a revolutionary. And I'm trying to think of at least one, like, this is like a musical person, but obviously like Baby Blue Baldwin. James Baldwin is a huge inspiration. I also found out about him like a lot. I've noticed I'm talking about a lot of people I found out like around a specific time, but that's like the people like I started gravitating to and made me like proud to be black. Like James Baldwin, I love how I love how he spoke. I love how he wrote about things. Like I just felt like he was a gay black man that was raised in the church, and he was like, no, and he just like stood for what he wanted to, and he made that decision on his own and became like an artist and became like, again, a revolutionary standing for black people and like being a voice for the voiceless. Like I just sit and watch his like debates or his interviews, and the way he articulates himself. Again, like with the way I write, I just like want to like, I might be conveying it in my own way, but like he's definitely like a big inspiration. I just love how he like spoke and how he talked. You know, he had to basically talk for us because you know we're not all educated and we don't know how to speak a certain way that they want us to speak. You know, they want us to talk a certain way, and he was able to speak to them. They obviously went over their heads, or they felt dumb or stupid, or their pride was broken, so it definitely hurt. But I just love like he just spoke for us, and he was like able to do it and sound way smarter than you ever could, and he actually made sense because what we're going through and what we're still going through is an issue, and they just don't like really see it that way, and they still don't really see it that way. And I just he's definitely such a big impact, and I love him a lot, James Baldwin.
I wish only to make this world.
I think, again, that might sound corny, but I think the whole process, the way I write is kind of weird because it's kind of a mix of what pops into my head randomly and then just me like honing in and focusing on what I'm writing about. A lot of what I'm writing is like, again, like metaphors, me like trying to convey how I feel about something and like still like have it be able to fit in the song. I think that's what I like about writing in a song compared to like writing in a poem, because writing a poem you don't really have a box. Writing in a song, like I said, I see like beats as like stages, So when I'm writing for that, I'm like trying to find a good way to like have a combination of me just like presenting this idea and then also like having the instrumental like flow perfectly with it. And when I'm writing with a song, I feel like a lot more fun because it's like a stage. It's a stage at the end, but to get to the stage, it's like a puzzle, and it's like kind of fun. I like hearing a beat and knowing that I'm going to write something insane to it, because it's like I think it's just like a satisfying thing because you like the beat so much. I feel like you like it so much as like a person that's a fan of music, and then you come in as a writer and you're like, how am I also going to combine this art with this piece of art? And I don't know, it's like it's so
One puzzle to just put together.
it really is. It's like, okay, this sounds perfect right here when I say it right here, and then I add like a random effect, or it's just me saying it again, and then I'm listening to it and I'm like, this like is gonna go crazy. I just like, and even just like the mixing process is like me figuring out like what sounds perfect to this for my ear and what's gonna sound perfect like when somebody else hears it. And it's like, I don't know, that's like kind of a back and forth of how I want it to feel. And then towards the end of writing something, and then I look it over and then I think about it and I'm like, this is good.
This shit's they're gonna fucking love this.
They're gonna love this. And it's very satisfying, because it's like, again, you're making something and then you get to share it with people, and then they just get to like be like, yeah man, that was fucking crazy. Like that's like, I just like writing so much, because for such a long time I felt like I didn't want to show stuff I wrote, and I was like, I should just do it in songs. Like, people shouldn't see like the writing process or me trying to get better at writing. But like I was saying, I feel like same thing, like in a weird way, the same way with like I was saying with releasing unreleased songs, like our songs that I was gonna like keep unreleased. It's like, maybe you could show people that you're human and that you're like trying to like perfect something. Like, I could just be like, nah, I can't make music, but I'm just gonna keep this all to myself. I feel like that's just me. I don't know. I feel like I would want, like, this like definitely happened during quarantine. I was like, I have too much. I need to do something. I literally need to do something. I would go downstairs and just listen to music, and then just dance for hours, because I was like, I need to express myself. And like, writing is definitely like how that same exact like gut reaction. And yeah, all of it. I like
All of it.
the synopsis is all the whole thing.
Like that.
This place. I usually go here. I usually go here. Or just anytime I'm like with my friends. Honestly, that's shit. That's really corny. Don't cut that. I'm just kidding. Bro, no. I'll get no rapper cred. I'm just kidding. That shit's stupid. No. When I'm with my friends doing stuff, like, I genuinely feel like I can like be myself, and like I don't know, like when you're with your friends, like it could be almost anywhere, and you're just like, this is fun. Like you're gonna make jokes, or you're gonna talk about stuff, or you're just gonna catch up. Like, I genuinely just really care. Like when I'll let this be known, I'm very picky with people. I'm not friends with everybody. My mama taught me this. You can't be friends with everybody, but that doesn't mean you gotta be mean to them. That's like me. I'm not gonna be like a dickhead to you, but I am very selective, like with the people that are around me. And it's just like, I just like the people that I like being around, it's like, again, like it's like a different kind of euphoria. It's like it's like a breath of fresh air. It's like you get to be yourself. You get to make the jokes. You can make the inside jokes of references you guys know, or you could just go and watch something or go and shop and just, you're like, I feel free. Like, I don't feel chained. I don't have to be a certain way. I don't have to act a certain way. I can just be like this out in public with people I care about that I feel safe with, you know? That's like, not everybody gets to have that experience. It's very, very... Sorry. Definitely fashion. I think fashion is definitely... Fashion, I think, has also always been I don't know, it didn't happen at the same time, but I think it was, like, happening in the back of my mind kind of without me noticing. Like, I think the favorite point, like, one of the best points of my life was when I was with my grandma and my aunts and my cousins and my mom in, like, one house, because that shit was, like, bro, energy all the fucking time. I was like, I can just be jokey, and, like, I just get to express myself all the time with all these women that are so smart and so intelligent. And it was like, that shit's gonna be in my biopic, just saying. But yeah, fuck, what was that? Yeah, bro, women are we always need to protect women at all costs. But yeah, I would play with my cousin was really into fashion. She would watch that runway show all the time. And my other cousin, I think so, yeah. That shit, I would watch that shit all the time with her. And my other cousin was really into Bratz dolls. That's why I'm gonna have a brand deal with Bratz dolls also. You're gonna get a sour face with a big head, just like how my head is big in real life. I definitely need to do that. That's gonna happen. But yeah, I would play with Bratz dolls. And I just liked I think it was customizing things. I was like, again, like self-expression. I think that was like my thought of self-expression. Like, after I stopped drawing as much, I was like, I really like expressing myself with what I'm wearing. But my mom was like very strict. No offense to my mom. This is another side note. My mom put me onto a lot of fashion. Thank you, Mom. I love you. That's the reason I'm jiggy as I am now. I definitely have my own fashion. That's a funny thing, us having our own different lanes with fashion. But she put me on the 90s stuff. I literally have like a slim shady jacket that I wear all the time that she had in the 90s. That's my favorite. No, but dude, I think it's Blue Boy. I'm gonna send you the guy's account. This shit is crazy. Thank you. And I love Trainspotting too. That shit, I love that movie. But yeah, fashion is just like, I've always like, and then at the same time I was like starting to play video games more. So I was like I said with Tony Hawk, and I think Tony Hawk and video games and like fashion and music, it's like, again, it's crazy how like combining all those things, it was like, it gave me so much reference. I was listening to My Chemical Romance before I even knew it. I was playing like whatever the one that when they were in Hollywood, I forgot which one that was. American Wasteland.
I think you're right. My
Yeah.
girlfriend knows this way better than I do.
Yeah, Tony Hawk, American Wasteland. That game could be cited for a lot of why the way I am today. But just the music and the stuff that they had, and I just like customizing my characters. And wrestling games, I like customizing my characters. And then when I got like towards like growing up more, and me actually finally getting to pick what I wore, it was like the perfect timing, because I was like finding out about 90s stuff more. So I was like wearing baggier stuff, but I didn't know how to do it correctly. And then when I got towards high school, I was finding about Tyler, and I was finding out about different brands, and I was finding out about like so many other different things. And it was like, again, me combining like all of that. And it's like, I just see that fashion as like another art form, a way of like expressing yourself. And I just love fashion so much, whether it's like me making stuff or like, I know so many people that have so many cool brands. That's why I could be wearing like No, people be going crazy over some designer. Oh my gosh, no, I'm gonna go super crazy. You're gonna wear a designer who's definitely racist, does not care about black people. I'm not saying I don't be wearing stuff sometimes. I'm just saying they definitely do not like black people. When I could be wearing this brand from this person that I saw on Instagram, and we're just like helping each other out. Like, this looks crazy. Like, I know you won't find stuff like this in the store. And that's what I like about fashion. It's like, it could just be like, oh, I want to look a certain way. Or it's like, I genuinely feel like more comfortable when I'm wearing stuff that I like wearing. And it's like, I don't know. Fashion, like, I just love, like, when I'm wearing a good outfit. It's like, bro, it's no better feeling than having an outfit on and then you're walking out stunt and you're like, I know I look good. That's again, being with your friends and they also look good. It's like, we're going crazy. We look fabulous. It's a great feeling. That's another whole different topic. I use he, him, and she, her pronouns just for y'all to know. And yeah, that definitely is like, that definitely can be hard, especially like when you have family that don't really see the exact same way. And that's, again, like why being with friends is feel safe and you feel comfortable. But yeah, I like expressing it so much. It's like, I like, I feel like people see it as such a negative, but I really see it as like, this just gives me more ways to express myself in my art. Like again, why like people like Kevin and like Tyler and like Steve Lacy and stuff, people like that. It's like, and Blood Orange. I love Blood Orange. Oh my god,
Shout out.
I love that man. Oh, sorry. Anyway, and Frank Ocean. And David Bowie. I love David Bowie. He and like, again, like James Baldwin. And it's like, I think I gravitated towards them, like especially in the early stages when I didn't know everything about myself and I was still figuring it out. It's like, they, again, making me feel safe to be vulnerable, especially being a queer black person. That shit is hard because, you know, it's like you have to deal with all of this plus, and then you're like, bro, now there's a bunch of more issues I have to. It's like, it's so, I like expressing it through my art because, like, I talk about in my lyric, again with the lyrics, like I'm just saying like different things. Like, I forgot, I have one song called I think Iceberg Honey Bun, and in the song I'm talking about a whole bunch of things in that song, but in a certain section I'm talking about like what I want as a rapper, like as you would, you know, like what a typical rapper would want. I want I want camaraderie with my like fellow rappers, and I'm like, I want that, and I'm like, yeah, that girl's cute, but in the song I'm like, yeah, I also think guys are cute, and then it's like, I get again the room freezing, and it's like I'm trying to express how I genuinely feel, and it's like, and in the song I'm like, oh no, just kid, and it's like, it's hard because it's like it's like in my song I'm talking about so many different things. It's like trying to balance that and trying to figure that out. It's like, for some reason it's a lot easier on songs, like to express myself in that way, and it's like, it's so much fun to do it through like music, because it's someone else is gonna hear that and think, yeah, I can finally be myself. I don't have to like restrict myself in any way. And I can tell it's like from even people that I meet, like them like knowing that and then bumping into me and they're like, thank you. I feel like, and just like broadening people's minds that might be closed-minded to that, like going to certain shows and being the way I am. I always feel like people are gonna think and see me in a negative way, and so far it's only been positive. It's only been like people being like, you're crazy, you're insane, I love that show. And when I'm talking in a song about kissing a boy, they're like with it, and I'm just like, okay, all right. I did it,
I'm glad.
and yeah, I can't wait to find like further ways to express that in my art. It's like with all my different projects, like with whatever I release in like any different ways. I want like from movies to like different models. I don't think it should be like restricted. Like that's definitely something I want to continue to like express myself with. Dag. I'll just name off like different projects I was listening to. Show Me the Bodies. They're a great punk band. I really like them a lot. I was listening back to a lot of Tyler, all of his projects. I was liking those a lot. Blood Orange. I was listening to a lot of his older projects. And I was like, this stuff is crazy. I've been trying to listen to more Mitski more because I love Mitski is such a great writer. Like, she inspires me to write so much better. Not saying I don't write good. I'm just saying, like, the way she writes is, like, it blows my mind.
Something you admire, right?
I admire it so much. She bro, I would love, there's so many people that I just want to sit down and have a conversation with about just, that's some nerdy ass shit. Like, bro, I can't wait to, like, bro, I love talking to people about their lyrics and, like, going into, like, all the metaphors because I'm paying attention, you know, and so, yeah, I love that. I'm glad to be being interviewed right now. I'm trying to see, I possibly will be getting management next year, so hopefully that could work, and then I could get more shows and more stuff popping, and I could get more money and get a laptop so I can make more songs. But yeah, I definitely I want to work with a bunch of people. Apologies to all the people that say they need features. I'm sorry, it's really hard when your laptop doesn't work, but I still want to work with you. But yeah, I'm just excited for 2023 because I did a lot of work and still have been doing a lot of work, and I just can't wait to see like things get even bigger and things get even more great. Yeah.
Being just that nice, I guess that's just life. People see you for doing something once in a while, then I guess you